Yo, hello, welcome everyone to the 312 Chicago Love Letter podcast. I'm Alex R. Wagner, the director and star of the 312, a movie that I shot 7 years ago. And then we hustled through post production within like a month to release it right after the Cubs won the World Series. In retrospect, it was probably not the greatest move. The movie was about uh, a group of 20 somethings in Chicago, very mumblecore style, homage to Joe Swanberg and Mark Duplass. And the concept started when I saw the movie Boyhood with a group of friends right after college. And I realized, oh man, they shot that movie over 20 years. If we shot a movie over a year, we could shoot it pretty cheap. And I was 270 pounds at the time, and I had just lost 5 pounds, and I had been rejected by a friend of mine that I had been pretty obsessed with in the friend zone for about a year and a half, not really understanding what the relationship was, and then I felt like I was taken advantage of. In retrospect, it wasn't her fault. I mean, I was the one that was trying to give to get love, and that didn't work out. And so I was sad. I had lost 5 pounds. I told my best friend at the time, Phil White, let's shoot this movie like Boyhood. Let's shoot it month to month. And he went right to work trying to find comedians that we could work with. And the first one, and the one that ended up becoming my best friend on the movie, and probably the best part of the film in my one of the best parts of the film, in my opinion, is the addition of David Drake, who gave a lot of comedy to my fatness and how fat I was, and yeah, just being a normal guy, a normal dude in a movie that isn't afraid to kind of call his friend out and tell him to just keep going, but also he has like a genuine sensitiveness. Like I mean, he seems like a sensitive guy, but shout out to David Drake, and also three feature length comedy specials on YouTube right now. The last one that he just put out was probably the most incredible thing I've seen by any comedian. He put out over an hour and a half worth of material, professionally done with a 3 camera setup. It might even have been a 5 camera setup. And the opening joke, when he was just like, he opens up with a joke being like, you don't even know who I am, but I've been doing this for a long time. And it opened up the entire room, opened up that special amazingly. And congratulations to David Drake. Go check that out. Go check out all three of his specials on YouTube right now. And yeah, so I decided to do this podcast because I'm realizing that most content has to be transformative. And there doesn't seem to be like a real place for movies per se in the, TikTok podcasts, whimsical, like, gotta talk right now, be spontaneous, genuine viewership that we're seeing. Like, it seems like that's what most people are after these days is to see, spontaneous things that happen. The launch of Matt Rife, for example, or just podcasts like Your Mom's House, Joe Rogan, just seeing things that feel genuine in a world that feels very constructed. And I just started noticing that like a lot of constructed podcasts started coming about. Um, One was this, like, I think it was something something five, and it was all five of the late night hosts, and it was horrendous, and it felt so disingenuous. And then after the SAG strike was over, they just decided that it was actually all about the strike, and we never meant to do a podcast. Goodbye. And you're still seeing a lot of other creators moving into podcasting, like Tosh is doing a solid success. Dan Soder has his own podcast now that's doing wildly successful with Katie Nolan, who also used to review movies back in the day, just like me. Shout out Katie Nolan. And then and also just there's also other shows that I'm not too sure about, like this new Trevor Noah thing where he's interviewing someone and saying it's, this genuine long-winded conversation where you're gonna, feel him and feel others, and you want to believe that Trevor Noah is genuine, but every episode is well polished with 15 minutes on the front end with the producer talking, the same as the new Jon Stewart style program, and then followed by 45 minutes of interview kind of cut together. There's a reason that 3.5 hours is what those interviews are on Joe Rogan, and that's what people really like, is that meat. But back to the point, this podcast, the 312, I decided to kind of build hybrids. I want to be able to tell my stories and have people see them, which means that they have to sort of be on a podcast, right? But I also thought that this would be a great opportunity to be able to share things that happened on the set or things that happened in those moments. So with this podcast, you will see each day for the next 4 days, we'll be releasing an episode. August, September, October, and then November are the titles of those episodes. And then after that, we will probably be releasing one episode per month until the end of the film. Because again, this movie was shot over the duration of a year, and each month is broken up into sections of the film. And so this is the first episode. This is August. As I said, I started this movie at 270 pounds. I ended it almost 100 pounds done. But I'm feeling good in life right now, guys, because I kind of have a restored sense of health. I ran 11 miles yesterday for the first time in my entire life. Before the beginning of this year, I had only ran 1 mile. I did cross country for one season in high school when I was pretty big, and there was no way I ever actually finished a 5K without at least stopping and walking a little bit. So to see myself where I was only jogging 1 mile, being able to complete 1 to 1.1 mile, and then today I'm going to go and do another 5K just to keep the soreness off. It feels good. And I'm on the journey to running my first marathon, which may become a different movie. But this movie was about me kind of finding myself, finding out that, maybe underneath it I was a bit of a jerk, and that it really didn't matter what my weight was. It was more about the personality that I was sending off, the negative vibes I was sending off to people. And I did that for a long time. But that's also what happens to a lot of fat people, is if you're fat, you're mad. And if you're mad, then you look bitter. And if you're bitter, people don't want to be around bitter. And so, yeah, I wasn't healthy. I was bitter. I was single. I was the definition of incel before incel was a thing. And with the help of my number one, Phil White, we directed and produced and shot this movie. I mean, he shot every scene that I was in, and I think the camera was all him. There might have been some B-roll, but that was it. Maybe one of these episodes we'll get him on here and talk. But you might notice that the intro, if you're watching the video version of this podcast, this right here is in black and white. That's because this movie had some shifts in it, and I was really worried about the lighting looking professional, and I begged Phil for months and months and months to let me turn the movie black and white so that it would look more like a indie mumblecore film. And he refused again. And finally, once we got to the celebrations and the grand finale that was this movie, miraculously, there was no way we could turn that footage black and white. And so then I went into well, what if it's like Wizard of Oz in the whole movie, and then and he's like, it's in color, man. If you wanted it in black and white, you should have shot it in black and white, but it's in color. And so the movie's in color. And I love the movie and all of its nasty, gross, fluorescent coloring of the year 2017. Probably the end of that true independent film spirit before everyone's cell phones started telling the story. And to set this movie up, the premise when we started it was just that, I had been rejected by a best friend of mine who was kind of hot while bringing her to the airport. I was 270 pounds. That's all honesty. We cast Shayna, and we actually interviewed her in a cafe, and we were like, this girl's great. She was like super bubbly and able to kind of improv and push off of me and give Dave more flavor in that first scene. When we went to shoot this, we actually shot this scene. There's, again, the lighting was hard for this movie. The little lightsabers and stuff that you see everywhere now didn't really exist. We had a thing called an ice stick, and I believe we had 2 of them. But it's still, it was very hard to light that car and film while driving inside the vehicle. And we were parked at the O'Hare airport and driving circles over and over and over again to get the shots correct and trying to keep, them in continuity. And there was actually, I believe, the end of that scene was her actually storming out and leaving. And she actually leaves and goes into the airport, but we cut all of that part. There was a whole intro with the song Chicago, showing the Chicago skyline before we fall into them, that we also cut because we felt like we just jump in. And so Shayna Benzing. Oh my God, I can't do this. I gotta pronounce her name right. I gotta jump off screen here. Because you can't do things like that. You can't have a movie where you have phenomenal actors and not say their last name correctly. And I'm already showing my unprofessionalness in this first episode of this thing, or whatever we want to call it, podcast thing. And where are you? Where are you, Shayna? Shayna, we need to see you, Shayna. Wow, that's not going to help. It's going to be hard to pronounce still. Shayna Benging, I believe. Oh my God, I hope I pronounced that right. Beining. You should go look her up. An amazing actor. And it was really awesome working with her on the front and then also the back end of this movie. And we will see Shayna one more time, but you won't see Shayna at the end of the movie because that scene was actually completely deleted. The script for this film was 172 pages. And if we kept every scene in, it would have been around 3 hours. A lot of the things that were cut were logistical because, again, this is back in the day when everything wasn't so easy. There wasn't a microphone in your pocket. There wasn't a lav on the side. There wasn't an MV Sheer podcast and mic in your face that nobody cared about. It was old school movie making on, I believe, a Canon 60D. It's a very, very rough, with a standard lens. It's a very rough shoot. Back to Shayna. Shayna and her boyfriend, who I believe that, they're still together, at least social media or whatever. I don't know if they still want me to tell this, but I'm going to anyway. So, we're there and we finished the shoot and we've been driving around for probably 2-3 hours. Circle. It's getting a little bit late. We go to drop her off with boyfriend. And I believe he said that he had locked himself. If I remember correctly, he had locked himself inside the car and he couldn't get out of the car that was locked. And I don't know how we fixed it, but we did fix it before he left. And I think we got him out, but then it locked again. Or maybe he did get locked out and we thought he was locked in. But we ended up driving them over to a gas station. I can't remember why. We went to the gas station and got something and came back. And then we were able to maybe Ouija something out, get them unlocked. I don't know. But they were able to come home safely. But that was the first day of shooting, and it was pretty crazy. And then after that, met David Drake, started laughing in every single scene. Gianna was incredible as well. to work with. You'll see her at the end of this shoot. And then comedian, what's his name? Oh, man. What is the comedian's name? Is the name of the thing. If I can do this right. Matt Cheramone. Matt Cheramone. ChiaraMonete. Which is a super funny comedian. Matt was, and he played a one of those people asking for. He was the boss of Dave's job, and Dave's job was to get signatures outside of the streets of Chicago, and because of sound issues and some other logistical situations, we had to cut the scene and move on so that we can move through with the story. But right after that first scene, they take a little gander, or a fucking fantasy thing, or whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't know. I'm not good at this. We're trying it out. We're seeing what happens here. But yeah, after that first scene, imagine Dave goes to work instead of seeing Dave's fat stomach with David Drake peeking over it. No, we did not name him Dave after David Drake entered the cast. Actually, David Drake entered the cast second, which made everything confusing because we kept the name Dave, and I don't know why, because I never really cared about the name Dave, but we seemed like it was bland. I was playing bland. David Drake is not bland. And so, yeah, every single episode of this podcast, you're going to see me do a little intro like this, just like I did, send you on your merry way towards the video, which is the story. For all of those of you listening via audio, some of these movies and stories and things that I will post on here for video are, especially this movie, visually stimulating. So maybe hard to gather the entire full concept of the story if you don't switch over to video at the end of each episode and check out the actual story as we go along with it. But without further ado, this is the 312, a Chicago love letter, a movie shot over a year and then shot 3 years later, all about Chicago, the people living in it, and losing 100 pounds over a year and learning to love yourself instead of being a dick. So here's Dave and David Drake and all the friends, or whatever. August. This is August of the 312, Chapter 1. Check it out. You are now listening to the movie. You can also watch the entire movie, Like if you want to actually watch a movie, if you wanted to sit down and watch it's only an hour and 17 minutes, guys. Like it's not even a long movie. It's not even a Scorsese movie. So if you wanted to just sit down and watch a movie, that would be great. But if you have no attention span because you're Gen Z, here's me doing a podcast, which will probably be turned into a reel talking about my movie that you should see a reel of called The 312, or listen to the podcast, or whatever you're going to do. But I'm a filmmaker. My name's Alex R. Wagner, and this is my movie. Chapter 1, August.
Thanks again for driving me.
No problem. I mean, I didn't want you to have to bring all your stuff on the CTA. You'd probably get mugged. Look, I gotta tell you something. I just really enjoy being around you, and I have this for you.
What is this?
A mixtape. Duh.
Dave, first of all, what the fuck? Second of all, how am I supposed to play this on the plane? I don't have a cassette tape player. I don't get it. Dave, you and me, what we have, is fine with me, and it better be fine with you, because it's not anything else.
I know that.
So why give me this mysterious mixtape and expect me to have feelings for you?
No, it's not.
There is nothing going on between us.
Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry. It's okay. Everything's okay.
You know I'm in here.
Yeah, it's 5 o'clock. You know what happens at 5 o'clock? What? What's wrong? Did something happen at the airport?
No.
What, you didn't take her to Smooch Town?
No, we didn't go to Smooch Town.
No? Why not? What happened?
No, she told me to find someone more like me.
Like a boy?
No, not like a boy.
So like a fat girl. Oh, buddy, I'm sorry. I think you look, in compared to like a elephant or the universe or the ocean, I think you're like real small guy. There's whales.
At least I don't take my shit off on that shit.
David, what happens in this bathroom stays in this bathroom, David. Ah! All right, party time. We're going out. Let's do it.
No, I'm not going out with you.
Come on, get up. We gotta go out.
I'm watching Jeopardy. Just leave me alone.
You're watching SpongeBob, and the volume's not even on. You're literally just looking at SpongeBob. All right, you look disgusting. Let me take these nutty bars away. Come on. All right, now that the nutty bars are gone, let's do it. Let's get out.
Don't act like I don't ever go out with you. Just every time I do, you ditch me.
Ah, buddy, I'm sorry.
No, don't act like I'm being sensitive about it. It's just, I'm not going out.
All right, well, I'm sorry about the past. That was then, this is now. Here, I promise I won't ditch you. I'll give you one of these.
One of what? What is this?
It's a pinky.
Stop.
Pinky
Stop
promise.
it.
Oh, okay, great.
Oh,
Pinky promise.
I'm not going.
Success. I'll get you shirts.
I'm not going.
I have these 2 shirts and a hat. No, fuck the hat. Alright, man, this will be fine. Just you and me, we can do whatever you want. We don't have to talk to girls. You shoot our butt in this, though. We're not going to school. Just let yourself out. Just be free, man. Don't go into the night with any sort of expectations. You don't want to feel like you have to do anything, because you don't, You just want the life of the party to come to you, I want it all just happen to you. Alright, so it's just me and you. I promise we're not gonna split. Wait, hold on 1 second. I think I know the guy. Just wait 1 second. Rody! Hey, Rody!
Are you fucking kidding me? Hello?
Hey! I thought I'd make you guys breakfast.
Brian here?
Still sleeping? I thought I'd surprise him.
Do I know you?
You were out with us last night, right?
Yeah, I guess I was.
What, did you forget?
Whoa! Bright guy! Up bright and early, man. That's great. Look who else is up.
Good morning.
There.
I'm making bacon. Do you want some?
Looks weird. Is that turkey bacon?
It's turkey bacon. Yeah.
Do you need a little help with the turkey
sure.
bacon?
Thank you. I'd love some help.
Yeah, my parents, they were dolphin trainers. Did you know that?
No.
You have to...
But...
Oh. Well, you can just... No, you can just have the rest of that.
Ow.
Well, you just listened to or watched Episode 1, Chapter 1, August of the 312, a Chicago love letter. This has been an envious production. I'll see you on the next episode of the 312 podcast, or whatever the hell this is called. Bye.